The information discussed on Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money. More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
All right. Good morning. This is not Jeff Tarbell. This is John Fotorero. And Jeff Tarbell is out traveling the world again, as he does so well this year. I don't know how he does it, but he tried to tell me he's never been anywhere. But this year he's making up for it.
Didn't you guys just get back from Europe?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
That was like January. But anyhow, welcome. Happy Saturday morning, day before Father's Day. Summer is in full effect, but before we get into it, we have our Boston Red Sox extraordinaire, Chris Verlade, and let's get our 30 seconds of mind from Chris Verlade.
Well, I've been talking a lot about soccer the last couple of weeks, and it's going to continue here. Actually, it's going to be about sports in general. One thing I hear about the NBA and the flopping, everyone calling in saying, oh, that's the reason I don't watch soccer. Because of the flopping, I don't watch it. Which is kind of funny, but you watch basketball, and they flop all the time. And guess what? Every single sport you have floppers. In the NFL, I know it's blasphemous to ever say anything bad about the NFL, but every time a wide receiver misses it by 10 yards, oh, my arms, oh, I got hit. Even in baseball, you have Derek Jeter. The ball hits the bat, he goes down to first, he's grabbing his arm, he's in pain. Oh, it wasn't even close to his hand. So I don't want it to see it in any other sports just like you, but when you say that, oh, it's a soccer problem, no, it's a sports problem. So as soon as you fix it along all sports, that's when everything will be fine, but it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon.
All right. Well, there we go from Chris Verlade. I have to say I have a guest across the table here, Frank Brockard. He's about 6'4", 6'5", maybe, and I think he played a little football. And I'm guessing he was a probably pretty big flopper. That's just my guess. I'm not sure.
I wasn't a flopper. I looked like a tight end, but I wasn't fast enough, so I was a center and middle linebacker.
Okay,
so right in the middle of the line. And I got a scar on my right knee to show it.
There you go. And probably 40 years ago, flopping and I don't know. I don't want to start talking about lying, cheating, and stealing, but probably wasn't so prominent back then. So that's it from Chris Verlade. We appreciate that, and happy Saturday morning. As we sit in for Jeff Tarbell, as he's not vacationing. He is out with his daughter and family, I believe, on the East Coast, looking at colleges. And as we've been talking about the last few months, different colleges, how do you get loans for colleges? We came across an article here that talks about basically student loans versus college careers. And, some of the things that said, if you know that you're going to take student loans, it may be good to see the salary, what the salary might be, and what the consequences of taking out that debt might be, and how you might be able to repay it. So as Jeff's out there looking at schools, that came to my mind of what is schooling going to cost, not just looking for schools, trying to get into the school with your grades and all the other efforts, but how are you going to repay the debt if you have debt and all the other good innuendos about going to college these days. So I wish him luck back there. I hope the rain stays away because I know it's been raining like crazy back in New York, Pennsylvania, all that good stuff. So cheers to that. And I just want to start off with, as we're in summer, where I don't know, I feel like we're in summer mode. I got a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old, and summer's kind of in full effect. The kid's been out of school for about a week or two. And, they have not been sitting around saying, I'm bored. So my wife last night, Justine, goes, I need to record all this. I'm going to journal all this information so that in a week or two when they say I'm bored, I'm going to tell them what he's been doing. So she starts going through the list of Sunsplash, laser tag for 4 hours yesterday. I'm like, what do you do? 4 hours of laser tag? And they had the time of their life. Kayaking the day before, rope swimming the day before that, sleepovers galore. And I'm thinking, bored? What happened to getting out and selling some lemonade and making some money?
Amen.
But apparently they're having a blast, and my wife is keeping them busy, so appreciate that, Justine. And as I said, we're rolling into summer pretty quick. I think the first day of summer is next week on Friday. The only reason I know that is because it's my 11-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
So that's how I know it's the first day and the longest day of the year. So that's easy to remember. But so anyhow, I'm John Fotorero with Comstock Mortgage and the Jeff Tarbell Talkin Money radio show. I have Kent Smith here. He is our renovation 203K guru. I'm going to call him that with a fancy Barcelona soccer. I don't know where you get something like that. That's pretty high end. And then we also have Frank Brockard, who is our reverse mortgage gentleman. We do a lot of reverse mortgages at Comstock Mortgage, and he's been doing it for quite a long time. So we're going to have him come in and tell us a little bit about that for refinancing, for purchasing, things of that sort. So welcome, Kent. How are you?
I'm doing well, John. How are you?
Awesome. I got a whole bunch of material here, and not sure what we're going to talk about first.
I can see that the studio table is nicely adorned.
That's right. We gotta make up for Jeff. So here we are. And Frank, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Yeah? So you keeping busy?
Yeah,
All right.
I am keeping busy.
How's reverse mortgage world out there?
Reverse mortgage world is picking up. 10,000 people a day in this country turn 65. So it's becoming a more and more wanted product, and it's here to stay, and I'm here to stay with it. So I look forward to a good year.
Great. So this week we have seen a ton of different things. I would say the topics this week have been appraisals, appraised values. I mean, every time you turn around and read the newspaper, it's, Sacramento's up 35%, 26%, 54%. I mean, there's numbers all over the place, and obviously it has to do with what location, where that property is. Rampant offers out there on new homes. Not just new construction homes. We're also going to have at the 10 o'clock hour a builder, realtor come in to talk about some of the things that are going on in that construction zone as far as new homes. And but we've seen a lot of activity with appraised values coming in short, coming in high, coming in all over the place. A lot of people buying in the last year that now have equity and want to take out the equity. A lot of people that were underwater, not underwater. We have Market Watch here stating that fewer than 1 in 5 homes are now underwater. So that's 1 in 5. That's not much. And the buoyancy varies. So we have about 39 million households now have positive equity in their homes. CoreLogic reported Wednesday 850,000 more homes returned to a state of positive equity between January and March.
Wow. So
850,000 more homes, quite a bit. And also at the end of the quarter, 9.7 million households, or about 19.8 or 20% with a mortgage, remained underwater, to 10.5 million homes, or 21% at the end of the fourth quarter 2012. So we're definitely building ground. Some say it's shaky. Some say, I've heard bubble 3 times in the last week, which I don't quite follow that. But if you follow a lot of the offers out there and a lot of the realtors that are seeing different things and these huge appreciation gains. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think it's also a great thing as we see, based on the Wall Street Journal here, wealth lost in slump returns. So we've had the net worth of U.S. households, nonprofit organizations, jumped 4.5 or about $3 trillion in the first 3 months of 2013. To a total of $70 trillion. So this is the highest in nominal terms since records began in 1945, according to the Federal Reserve report. That's pretty amazing. I mean, here we are sitting there going, woe is me, and this and that, and all we're starting to hear now is these huge gains of what we lost. People are feeling a little lighter on their shoulders because their equity position is up a bit. I still think, the market came out this week and said that we've had some jobs, some job increases. If you're a financial planner, if you're a stockbroker, if you're a mortgage broker, it's been a wild ride. A lot of people are in Disneyland right now, and you see all this stuff on Facebook and all these texts, but that I'm just sitting there in the office thinking I'm in Disneyland right now. The stock market's up 180, the next day it's down 105. The rates are shifting all over the place. They're up about 1/2 to 3/4 over the last probably 10 days, but we're getting a little benefit. And I think the interesting part is, Bernanke comes out and says something not too long ago, and all of a sudden the market goes wild. We're going to take out quantitative easing. We're going to slow it down. Wasn't even in his verbiage of what he was going to say. It just came out in a question, which set everything on fire. And from there, I think it's just gone rampant. I mean, we've seen all these financial reports come out where they don't really make sense to what the stock market's doing, what the bond market's doing, what ultimately for us affects our interest rates. So I think it's been a wild ride, and now that we're coming up on the next Fed meeting, we're starting to see some benefit. So we did close out this week with rates getting a little bit better, which I think is good because they were just on a Disneyland, just falling from the sky. So I don't know what the new Disneyland roller coaster rides are. If you know those, you can always text us at 441140. You can call us with any questions at 339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. So Kent, tell me a little bit about what you've been doing here. I know you got a lot of renovation loans going, a lot of people that are looking to, because really there's no way to take equity out of your home or to put an addition on your home or do these things with second mortgages. There's really not a whole lot going on there. So tell me a little about what you're seeing.
True. I think that that offering to pull out equity or to get a second on your home, the resources for that are extremely limited. So for an individual that wants to do an addition to their property, or if they're purchasing a property where they want to come in and make it their own, 203K financing is a fantastic vehicle for them to get that done. Interest rate on that program right now is 4 to 4.25. It is a couple different options on the term. You can do a 30-year fixed term. And in essence, you get your purchase money and your renovation or rehab money all combined into one single closed loan. So it's a great program. Currently right now we have, I think, 6 or 7 projects active right now, all in various stages. Properties located all around the greater Sacramento market. And the activity on that product has picked up severely in the past, I think, probably 3 months. Combination of the weather being better and really general contractor season out there to get going. But it's gone gangbusters.
So are you seeing, so those of us out here listening and we're looking at, okay, how do I do a new kitchen? How do I add a bedroom? What are some of the things you're seeing, and where's the benefits of them?
So I think in order to get started with the program, the best advice I can give is to make sure that you talk to your mortgage professional. I think it's very important to find out kind of what your number is as to what you can qualify for or what you really want to afford on a monthly payment. Once you have that determined, then the process is relatively simple. We set up a home inspection. An FHA fee inspector or HUD consultant will come out, take a look at the property. Now, because you're getting government financing, there are some minimum HUD property standards that have to be met. So that inspector will come out, do a walk of the house. It's usually a 2 to 3 hour inspection, and they'll come up with a list of items, if any, that need to be fixed per their minimum HUD property standards.
And these are usually things that you probably want to fix anyway?
Yes, absolutely. So termite infestation, health and safety issues, for some older homes with, improper wiring, outlets, leaks, roofing, siding, anything of that nature that really has been deferred maintenance for a while and needs to be done. And when those items are done, it's only going to add for the peace of mind for the new homeowner, or for if you're refinancing, to add value to that property down the road, predicated upon what you choose to do with that piece of property.
Yes, I'm looking at an article here that's talking about after the remodel, it's payback time. So you do have to pay these loans back. And obviously we always hope that we're going to get the appreciation. But the top item on this Wall Street, the mansion after the remodel, siding replacement is the number one at about 80% recoup value, where a major kitchen remodel It's talking about a project cost of about $107,000. Recoup resale value about $65,000, so about it's 59% recoup on that. But obviously, you're doing it because you live there, you're enjoying your home, it's for your family. And another list here I thought is so top items: siding replacement, garage door replacement, window replacement, deck addition, major kitchen remodel, bathroom remodel, roofing replacement, obviously something you're going to need to do when it's time. A garage addition. Now, I want a garage addition on my house, and I'm not sure the 203K can do that. Actually, I think it can, but I don't think I get value out of it.
It can do that. So basically, the benefit of the program is you can take your property or purchase a property and tear it all the way down to the foundation and one wall and basically rebuild the house back up if you choose to do that.
Okay, so lots of options. If you have any questions on the renovation, you can always give us a call, give us a text, 441140, and we can get your house built up so that you can put it on the market. As again, when we were talking about earlier, here's all the articles: home sales seeing growing pains, opportunity awaits for many sales, housing's up, how's the foundation of it, is it stable? There's just a ton of market news right now, and even yesterday, just talking to a couple friends, and they said, is it really true? My neighborhood's up 34% from last year. I said, well, that's all going to depend. It's all good and well deserving, but you have to see. And here's what we're having is a house listed in Roseville, and it's really nice, but they want to use Granite Bay comps, and we were talking about Arden Park home that's really nice, but they want to use Arden Oaks comps. So we're getting into this fickle with realtors, appraisers. Almost back where we were 2002, 2003. And, a lot of the folks out there are when they're writing offers, are saying, if this house does not appraise, that you're going to be coming in with the difference in money and putting that in the contract. And it's really nice when everybody knows up front. So, Ken, I think we need to take a break here as we're moving along, but do you have a quiz question for us? I absolutely do. First of all, I want to say Happy Father's Day, gentlemen, and Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. So here is the quiz question. In honor of Jeff, name one of the three best careers to acquire student loans, to basically go into debt for. Okay. So again, in honor of Jeff, name one of the three best careers to go into debt for. So if you're going to go to college and you're going to get a college loan, what is one of the top three careers to go into so you can pay off that debt quickly? Correct. There are three best. Which name one of them? Perfect. So there you have it. We have some Round Table Pizza. We have some River Cats baseball. And call us. Text us at 441140 or 339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. We'll be right back. Jack.
Talkin' money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
All right. Not to disappoint. But Jeff Tarbell is out and about college shopping. So I don't know if I'd want to do that. You just bring your credit card when you're college shopping and you walk up, I want this one, and slide your credit card, and then you give you an entry, right? It's that easy. All right, perfect. So just before the break, we had a quiz question as Jeff is out looking at colleges, and our question had to do with what is a top career to go to college for to accumulate debt and then come out and be able to pay that debt off quickly. Ann was our winner, so she'll have her choice of Round Table Pizza or River Cats baseball. And from the text line, we had a couple different responses having to do with healthcare and nursing. And I would agree, and I think the general populace would agree with that, except for the amount of debt that it takes and how long it takes to pay it back. So what were the top three responses you had there? So the top three were advertising, an economist, and a civil engineer. Okay, so if you go to school, you accumulate debt for these careers, you get out, and you're probably paying it off about a few 2 to 6 years or so. Yeah, for advertising, it says that the median salary coming out of for college grads is $107,000. They'll be able to pay off their student loans in about 6 years. I'm setting my son up into that one. Exactly.
Civil engineer, median salary is $79,000. They pay their loans off in roughly 8.5 years.
Okay, well, super. I think that talked to about, there's a little bit in the article on Market Watch that was talking about how do you go to college, get out of college, and have student debt, but also start saving for retirement at the same time. And, I thought back 20 plus years ago when I was getting out of college, and A, paying off my college debt was not the first thing on my mind. B, saving for retirement was not my second thing on my mind. So how do you do that? And I think what happens, this kind of relays ourselves into Frank's world of reverse mortgages. And, partially you get out of school, you're going for work, you're thinking about everything, as we were talking at the break, cars, jobs, careers, trips, all these different things. But when you hit an older age and maybe you've been dedicated to paying off your home, or maybe you bought your home and didn't have a big mortgage, and you're getting closer to retirement age, you either have a small loan on your house, you don't have any loan on your house. That's why we have Frank Brockert here. He's with Comstock Mortgage. He's a reverse mortgage guru. He looks like a guru here too. You should see him. But Frank, tell us what you got. Tell us a little bit about reverse mortgage, where it started, and how it can be useful for all of us today, whether it's us in our mid-40s looking at our parents, or whether it's our parents or whom it may be.
Good. Well, the purpose of the reverse mortgage, first of all, is it's for people that are 62 and over. Both people or all people on title have to be 62 or over. And it's a way that they can access some of the equity in their home to live more comfortably for the rest of their life in the home. So the reverse mortgage, my understanding is, came on the scene about 30 or 40 years ago and gained a lot of acceptance and desire in the late 80s. There were some things that happened then that caused a few myths to happen, so to speak, MYTH, myths. And that is, in the late 80s, brokers started jumping in, and it seems like brokers jump ship and get into, where the origination fees are most. So a lot of brokers jumped in and were charging excessive fees for the reverse mortgage. Title went to the lender, which no longer occurs. And also, when the property was sold, equity was split from the lender and also to the homeowner. In the mid-90s, the FHA insured the loan, so a couple things happened. It became an FHA-insured loan, and also the homeowner has to go through HUD counseling, which they have to do today. So that took away the three myths, I think, that exist in reverse mortgages. Number one, the origination fees are now regulated, and the title remains with the homeowner. If you ask probably 90% of the homeowners out there that are 62 and over and are considering a reverse mortgage, they think they lose title to the home, and that's not correct. Title remains with the homeowner. And when the home is sold, whether it's with the homeowner or with the heirs, all the equity goes to the owner, does not go to the lender. So most of the time that I spend with seniors is educating them in what the reverse mortgage is. A lot of people say, my children want to know what I'm doing. So when I set up the appointment with homeowners, they say, is it okay for my son or daughter to come in? And I say they are absolutely welcome. And most children champion what the homeowners want to do. They say, Mom and Dad, you put clothes on my back, you put food on the table, you put me through school. It's now your turn to have fun. So I love the reverse mortgage. I am a senior myself, and I like to talk to people eye to eye. So that's a little bit of the background about reverse mortgages, John.
Okay. So, as I become more and more aware of these and my folks get a little older, you're always asking questions, and, you hear all the stories of even my mother-in-law, I'll have to say it, but, they're living in a home that's maybe has $50,000 worth of debt or no debt on it, and they're not turning on their heat in the winter. They're not watering the grass because it's going to cost a little bit, even though, the same bill is every month. It's the same bill until you get on your watering meter. But they're maybe not eating certain foods, or they're hibernating just because they're conservative. That's just how they grew up. I mean, that's one of the things. And here they are with a house that's worth $350,000. So there's $300,000 of equity, and they're concerned about it. And what I always see, most of the time they want to leave that to their children, to their grandchildren, what have you. And most of the time the kids really would rather them live a healthier life. And, as you were saying, the myths, there's a lot of myths out there, and there have been, and obviously nobody wants to lose their home, give their home away. But with all the restrictions, the rulings, government backing, protection against seniors, I think it really takes the education for all parties to deplete the myths and live a better life.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly true, John.
So with this money, we can update our home. We can put a roof on our home. We can take the home, the money, and go on a vacation. There's a variety of things we can do with this money. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And the reverse mortgages for people that are just experiencing a squeeze at the end of each month. So they're, having to tap into their savings account or stocks and bonds, their portfolio. But why not leave those in place and use another type of savings account that they have in their so-called portfolio, and that's the equity in their home. And I know a lot of homeowners that I meet with that are over 62, they think, they were brought up in a world where their parents taught them, hey, no debt on anything, except for a home if it appreciates. And that's why the way my wife and I have lived over the years. So anyway, most of the people that I meet with need that cash flow. So it's either to pay off existing debt, that they have on the home. They have a $50,000 loan on the home, and the home's worth $200,000. Why not pay off that $50,000 and get rid of that $500 a month they're paying, and ease the squeeze at the end of each month?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
I agree.
So, what about my parents don't have credit, or maybe they had some physical challenges and there was some medical collections, there was some debt. How's a qualification work? Challenging?
So we're coming up to my quiz of the day, the minimum credit score for a reverse mortgage?
Not yet.
Not
okay. Yet. All right, we're going to leave that hanging a little bit.
Okay, good. So we do pull a credit report for seniors. The only reason we pull a credit report is to see three things. Are there any other liens on the home that they haven't told us about? Because that's going to come out of the woodwork at some time, so we need to know that soon. The second reason is, are there any judgments on that credit report? For example, if they rear-ended somebody and they went to court and they owed $10,000 to the people they rear-ended, that's a judgment. So the judgments need to be paid before we close escrow. And
you're saying you've seen some things like that come up?
I have not.
Okay.
But that's one reason we pull a credit report. And the third reason is to see if there's any items of public record. And that would be utility bills haven't been paid, taxes haven't been paid, et cetera. So those have to be cleaned up. And that's kind of a roundabout way to say that sometimes seniors need to clean up some of the things on their credit report, some of the things in their financial portfolio. So there's a lot of side benefits also of meeting with professionals like myself and tax attorneys, et cetera.
So would you say with the appreciation levels in greater Sacramento area and in Northern California and all of California, here we are, April home prices rise 23% in the region. How's that affect a reverse mortgage? That's a good thing as far as values, right?
Yes, absolutely a good thing. A lot of people over the last 7 years since 2008-9, when we lost a lot of value, if somebody had a $100,000 mortgage on their home and their home was worth $200,000 before 2008, they were able to originate a reverse mortgage. I'm all coming down to the point to say that you need about 33% equity in the home, depending on the age. The older you are, the less equity. The younger you are, the more equity you need to originate a reverse mortgage and make it make sense. So if that $200,000 home with 100,000 against it, went down to 120,000, and they still had 100 against it, they wouldn't be able to originate a reverse mortgage and pay off the 100. Now, with that $120,000 home now going up to 140, 160, and to the point where they have 33% equity, they can now originate, get rid of that existing $100,000 mortgage and the $800 a month in principal and interest that it costs them each month.
So if I'm sitting here driving down the road, I'm thinking, I wonder if mom, qualifies. Is it a complex qualification process, or what's the easiest way to, get some rough numbers?
Give me a call.
Okay.
Give me a call on the phone, and I can run the numbers in about 10 minutes. I have a website that's lender-driven, and we, of course, at Comstock close all of our loans, including reverse mortgages. And as soon as we close, then we sell it to a popular local reverse mortgage lender. So give me a call. I would need name, address, date of birth, and any existing mortgage on their home.
So name, address, date of birth, and you can run it through the system. So
Yes.
what's your phone number? How do we get a hold of you if we need to?
Okay, my cell number is the one I carry on my hip like most originators do, and my phone number is 916-223-2214, 223-2214.
Okay, so simple enough. If you want to get into reverse mortgage, you have any questions, you can call us at 339-1140. You can call us at 1-800-920-1140. And we'll be back to Frank here. I'm just looking at some of the things we were talking about earlier, which has to do with home sales growing pains, home sales appreciation. Article here regarding HARP. HARP refinance continues to succeed where HARP 1.0 fell short. In March, according to the refinance report released by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, of the 461,000 refinances closed through Fannie and Freddie in March, 21% were completed through the HARP program, or about 2.46 million HARP transactions since the program began. So as we go through this market right now, we're seeing a lot of people that are able to now sell their homes because they are either at a break even or they're willing to come in with a little bit of money to maybe buy a bigger house or even downsize as life moves and is an ever moving target. We're also seeing the opportunity to refinance out of mortgage insurance and things of that sort. We're also seeing the opportunity where you can get a renovation loan, maybe add an addition to your home instead of moving, because now when you do the cost analysis breakdown of what the home will be valued at in the future is advantageous. We're also seeing reverse mortgage. Maybe if you were at a point where you couldn't get rid of that $100,000 loan and $900 payment, you may be able to now. So any questions, you can always look for any of us or any lender. We are all with Comstock Mortgage here, doing the best we can each and every day to help and educate. A couple other things, home buying tallies. As I said, coming up at the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to have a builder that's coming in, and he's going to give us a bunch of information where the articles and the information on home building, new home sales we're talking about, to me is amazing. I'm not quite sure where and how all this is going to happen here, but it is, and we've been hearing about it for a long time. Some of the article titles talk about going from 0 to 60, 0 to 65 very quickly. As we do, we have a shortage here, which, like I said last week, I've heard several times about a bubble, and I don't personally think we're going to have a bubble. I agree it's ridiculous right now if you're out trying to buy a home. And people are telling, I looked at 80 houses and I'm finally in contract. And one of the biggest things I can say is make sure you talk to a mortgage professional before you're looking for a house. I know it's not the most exciting thing to do as you're listening here to our exciting conversation, but let me just tell you, your transaction will be a lot smoother. You will, if you've had a short sale in the past, if you had a foreclosure in the past, make sure it's set up right. If your credit's been tampered with, we'll be able to know that ahead of time. If you have a judgment or a lien, we'll be able to work on that and get it cleared, because we know none of the judgments or liens on our credit are ours. We know that already, but we have to prove that. So there's another reason. But definitely, as we're in this market here, trying to buy a home, writing offers, make sure even all the details are taken care of. It just makes for a much smoother transaction. Even when you're into it and all of a sudden you get your appraisal back and it's $40,000 short. So you get an appraisal that's $40,000 short. What do you do? You either already had it in your contract that said, I'm going to pay the difference in cash. And if the listing agent and all parties involved are on top of it, they will make sure you provide them within the first few days the fact that you have the ability to come in and pay that in addition to whatever down payment you were doing. Another item, we just keep going with all these pieces, but another way is to, go back and rebuttal an appraisal, which, a lot of people are thinking that, well, I'll just, show up and show them some, different square footage or some pendings. Let me just tell you that as we get going here, it's not as simple, and we'll get back to that after the break. But Frank, tell us, give us a little, you got a quiz question so one of our parties out here can win.
Yeah, I'd like to make one comment in regards to kind of the general overall market and what's happening. There's something exciting happening in our area. We live in an area in Fair Oaks. We purchased this home 34 years ago, and there was about 220 homes in this development, and there's only one lot that we know of that's been unbuilt upon in these last 30 years. And right now there's a home being built right around the corner from our home, which is pretty exciting to see. Walls going up, a roof put on, workers working. It's and I'm not saying this is typical of all over Sacramento, but for our little area in Fair Oaks, it's an exciting thing that's happening. This home is in contract, we understand, by talking to some well-informed neighbors for $470, and I'm looking around at homes like that in the area, and we're probably Zillowing out at $400 if Zillow has anything to do with it. I'm drilling down a little bit deeper, but $400 to $470, so it's a pretty exciting thing that's happening.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the quiz question of the day that we alluded to a little earlier is, what is the minimum score for a reverse mortgage?
Okay, so we'll take that to break. What is the minimum score required?
Credit score.
For a reverse mortgage. And with that, you can get Round Table Pizza. We can also get some River Cats tickets. Great time to go out and watch some baseball. So we'll appreciate it. Think about that. You can text us at 441140. Call us at 339-1140 or at 1-800-920-1140. We're going to be right back.
Money.
And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
All right. Here we are getting rallied up for Saturday. A week away from the first day of summer. Everybody's going at it. It seems like everybody I talk to, it's in full bore of, I got this plan, I have this plan, then I'm going to go do this, and I'm over here, and then I'm over here. And then the kids are back in school. So let's all slow down a little bit, take a little breather, because I know we're just starting to enjoy it, and I'm not ready for our kids to go back to school yet myself. But anyhow, just getting going here. We've been talking about reverse mortgages. We've been talking about renovation loans. We've been talking about the housing industry. Balloon pop. I don't believe it, but that is some of the things we're hearing. We're hearing a lot of different commentation about our U.S. doing well, which we are seeing some good information regarding employment coming back. I've also seen on the stock and bond market a lot of commentation about the U.S. Well, the U.S. is doing pretty good right now, so I think that helps out. But before we left for break, we had a question. I'm not sure we have a winner yet. Had to do with reverse mortgage, and we're going to get back into that here. The question was, what is the minimum credit score required for a reverse mortgage? If you know that, you can text it at 441140 or give us a call, and we'll take that information. Frank, I think you're going to get into, we always think about reverse mortgage, and we talk about it being used for different purposes. Give us, as we see the economy change, we see new housing coming on the market. Tell us a little bit about other possibilities of this reverse mortgage.
Another possibility of a refinance would be to do a purchase. I had a customer recently sell a townhome in Folsom for X amount. They came out with $100,000 and more. So they ended up purchasing a $300,000 home, single-family detached home, for $300,000, put $100,000 down, and a reverse mortgage of $200,000. So $200,000 reverse mortgage, $100,000 down, and they own a $300,000 home. This particular reverse mortgage was a HECM fixed at 4.5%.
A HECM? You got something in your throat?
I thought you would ask that. HECM stands for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. So they're converting their equity into a mortgage for their home. HECM fixed rate, 4.5%. That loan, unfortunately, is no longer available, but we still have fixed rate under the SAVER program. SAVER simply means save money on the closing costs, because there's basically, it's 0.01% of the purchase price for FHA mortgage insurance. Otherwise, the mortgage insurance on not a fixed rate would be, not on the SAVER, would be 2% of the value of the home. So in this case, the HECM fixed had a FHA mortgage insurance of 2% of $300,000 is $6,000.
So we have a condominium, and maybe it's 2-story, and we're 66 years old. We sell this house, we sell this condo, we get $100,000 out. We go and we buy a $300,000 house.
Yep.
And we have no mortgage payment.
No mortgage payment and principal and interest. The three things that a homeowner is responsible for is to pay the taxes on time, the insurance on time, and maintain the home at FHA standards.
Okay. And if there's any HOA dues or fees and that sort of thing. So obviously a great tool as we work around the increase in values, as we work around, what were you talking about earlier there, Kent? The new folks that are coming in, the millenniums?
Millennials?
Who are these people?
Perennials? Oh, those are flowers.
But a lot of new people coming into the marketplace, and they're younger generation doing things a little differently, but we still have our elder populace that needs homes. They need health care. They need different items. And reverse mortgage is obviously a huge tool that can be used to get them out of a situation, to help them with a situation, to get them into a new home situation. Even you can use that product on a new home build, Frank? Say KB Home has a new home out in Folsom possibly. Can you use that product?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's just got to meet the
new home, used homes meet the qualifications of a reverse mortgage.
Okay, so any Sun Cities, things like that, I'm sure it's a huge product out in those environments.
Yeah, qualifications are very simple: 62 and over, 62 years of age and over for both homeowners. Has to be owner occupied, cannot be a rental or a second home, and they must have equity in the home. In this case, about 33%, depending on the age.
Okay. So as we're sitting here too, Kent, we all have questions on this. I know we do. If you have a parent or a in-law, we all have specific questions, and we're trying to talk with our siblings and our parents and figure out what's the best way. How do we do it? Does it make sense? And I think one of the things we always get stuck with too is that our parents don't want to leave where they're at or where they've been for 30 some odd years. And I think sometimes that takes just getting them out and showing them some different opportunities, especially as maybe the neighborhoods have changed, things have changed. So reverse mortgage is an excellent product for all that. Frank, again, give us your contact information in case there's any specific questions.
Sure, absolutely. My contact information is twofold. I can be reached at my website, www.frankbrockard.com. That's BROCKARD. ARDT.com, or phone number, my cell, 916-223-2214.
Okay, and we talked about, I don't think we've got an answer for our credit score, so we'll let that hang. Oh, we did. Okay. The answer is, Frank?
0.
So you don't have to have a credit score. It can come up with nothing. So easy qualification, easy way to go, purchase, refinance, take a peek at it. I know with any other mortgage, typically you're at a 620 or a 640, depending on all the criteria. But you don't have to have a mortgage credit score, and I think that works out well for a 62 and older, because a lot of them don't even have credit unless they've spent time, trying to get a rental car or flying or things like that. There was never a reason for a credit score.
Right.
So,
I make mention right here. I had a lady. I've done several hundred reverse mortgages over 10 years, and I had a lady that was in a foreclosure proceeding. And she had we had to pull a credit score, so I think her name was Paula. But she had a credit score in the 500s, and she was currently in foreclosure, missed several payments. The lender had already foreclosed on the home. They were in that, down to the 90-day, almost a 21-day process of selling it. And we contacted the lender to say she qualifies for a reverse mortgage. We did a reverse mortgage, paid off her loan, and saved her home for her.
Excellent
awesome
story.
There you go. So, and there's a prime example. Somebody's struggling to make their home payment, who has the equity position, and get her out of it. So that's an awesome way to go there. So I appreciate you coming in, Frank. I hope you stick around with us to share some light in our second hour. If anybody has any questions, Frank Brockard, Reverse Mortgage Specialist, will be here. We also have Kent Smith. He is our renovation 203K. Every time I think about it, all I say is patience. I just tell myself patience. Patience. Anyhow, that is where we're at. We're going to come back with the second hour. We have Christopher Brown coming in from the Next New Homes Group, and he's going to share with us a little bit about what's going on in the builder industry, his industry, what we're seeing. We're going to talk a little bit about Pandora, Apple, a little more about business. And no, we're not going to talk about the BlackBerry, Kent, because we're not going to talk about it. So we appreciate you guys. Come back for the second hour. I think we're going to hear a lot of good news, and we'll talk to you then.
Talkin' money.
And the action continues on Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
All right. Welcome to the second hour. We're here talking money without Jeff Tarbell. He is out looking at schools. He's shopping with his credit card and his wife and 3 girls in New York City. I'm sure he's, yes, this should be interesting. Anyhow, Jeff is not here. This is John Foderero, and we have with us Kent Smith. We also have... For the second hour, also with us is Mr. Frank Brockard, our reverse mortgage especial. And joining with us is a longtime acquaintance of mine that we see each other here and there over the past 10 years or so. But Mr. Christopher Brown, he is with the Next New Homes Group, and outside of a bunch of different organizations and things he's heavily involved in. So welcome, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
We're just rolling in. We've been talking about the first hour here, talking about the housing industry, how it went basically from 0 to 60, 65 in a very short period of time. Last year, this time, I think everybody was just, I think probably this time last year, we were just starting to get going a bit, and then throttled up, and then it kind of lulled a little because everybody goes, is this real? And now we're off and running. As you know, every article around is about price appreciation. It's about bubble. What is bubble? Someone texted me and said, what is bubble? I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what the Wikipedia response to that would be, but basically is bubble something that increases drastically real quick and it pops. And based on Sacramento region, Northern California, even Southern California, I don't see this. My own personal opinion. The only reason I say that is because, part of why I asked Chris to be here and talk about the builder industry, because, there's a lot of land out there. There's a lot of property. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of time to get it set up to do anything. Unfortunately, it takes the seller to sell it in order for a builder to buy it and be able to turn it and build something on it. But I personally think and we talked about this in the first hour, as people are underwater and things are stagnant a little bit, nobody wants to buy a new home. How do you price it right? All these different things. But now as appreciation's coming up, people are feeling a little less heavy on their shoulders. They have an equity position, so they're able to buy, sell, move, upgrade, pull equity, move into that single family, maybe new home versus a two-story, different amenities. There's a lot of different change going on. So I think bubble-wise, for me personally, again, the demographics that we have here, the amount of jobs that we have that can be here, all the good things coming to Sacramento. We talked last week about a professional soccer team. We talked about the, now the big change with the Kings. A lot of development still to come. The Bay Area, we always see influx coming over from that. So I think we're going to continue to just grow. And as much as some of us want it to grow easily and steadily without being on that Disneyland roller coaster, I don't know that, we don't like to do that, I guess, here in Sacramento. We like to just kind of go for it. So, Chris, welcome. Tell me a little bit about what you do, who you are, and we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I am the broker and principal for Next New Homes Group. We are a builder sales and marketing company here in town. I think I've been doing this about 19 years now, so it's been a heck of a ride. I got into the market in mid-90s, so it's at the kind of the beginning of the rundown at that time, and then ran it all the way back up through 2003, 2004, 2005, and then jumped completely off the cliff in 2007 when we all fell right back down. So we certainly had a bubble then. I definitely agree with you. We do not have a bubble now. We certainly had the price increases that have happened, but we haven't had the oversupply of inventory this time around. Granted, we need some better employment and we need some job growth that'll happen in the market, but we just don't have even anything remotely close to an oversupply in the market. And it won't happen anytime soon. Like you said, from a home building standpoint, it takes us 10, 15, 20 years to develop a piece of dirt. And that's just, it's not like Texas. Everybody's talking about Texas right now. We can go out to Texas and walk into the building department. We just bought a piece of dirt and it's completely unentitled. Well, we can get all the entitlements to be able to build on that in a couple weeks, couple months maybe, versus here we've got all of the fun California laws that we've got to follow. And then everybody has an opinion on it. So then it takes us 10 years just to get to the conversation stage. And then once we get to the conversation stage, we get shut down by something random because we found something in the dirt or somebody nearby had some emotional attachment to it. So we've got to go through that process. So it's just, we as Sacramento and California in general have these boom bust cycles because we can't naturally ramp up and ramp down in our supply side. Okay. And so it's simple economics.
That makes sense. I like that. That is a good response. That's the best response I've heard because, we can't control it. There's so many inhibitions, so many little things that do come up here and there. It's quite overwhelming at times.
Yeah, we're playing a lot of Magic 8 Ball and a lot of Crystal Ball is really the home building industry for California.
So the thing that came, Disneyland, I was thinking about Disneyland, talking about it earlier, and I still have this. I have to bring it up because it blew me away in the Sac B. Folsom Rush is on to develop foothills south of Highway 50. Plans to build more than 10,000 homes. 10,000 homes. So here we are. Everybody's fighting over, what do we have, 1,100 homes currently in the market?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here we are looking at 10,000 now. That's over a period of time, obviously, but there's some huge news that things are starting to move. And I think you're doing some projects up in the El Dorado Hills area now?
Yeah, we've got a condo project called La Sara up in El Dorado Hills, which was also a victim of the market. The original developer built not quite half the project, and then their construction lender got taken over by FDIC and shut the project down. So the developer was still in a position that he wanted to keep selling, but wasn't able to. There was no loans available. They got foundations in for the rest of the project. We're planning to build the rest of the project. Done. So we came in. We've been working on. Actually, my business partner was the original marketing director for the project. So we've been involved in the project since he's been involved in it since dirt, and I've been involved in the last 4 or 5 years now. And it's fun to bring something like that back to life. Plus, it's the only product in El Dorado Hills that's sub 200,000. So it's being able to be in that price point when everything else, especially new with Blackstone and everything great going on there, and now Serrano's getting back going with Standard Pacific and a few of the other builders that are up in that area. They're starting in the 4s, 5s. Some of the stuff's up in the 600s. So it's a huge price differential. So if you really want to be in El Dorado Hills, that's the place to be. And it's neat. It's interesting that project, because you've had so much of a meltdown from Serrano and all of those surrounding areas. You've had the foreclosures, you've had the divorces because of the economy, all of those kind of things. But people want to stay in their social circle. Well, all of that social circle is able to now buy at half the cost in La Sarra. So it's just
that's huge. How many units are there?
We've got another 105 coming to market, hopefully in fall, and that's the other challenge with our market right now for a lot of our projects and a lot of the other builders in town. Everybody's struggling with Department of Real Estate to get projects through, because Department of Real Estate cut back on all of their staff over the last several years, and now they don't have enough subdivision staff to get all the public reports and all of the normal stuff that go through. And, oh, by the way, we all started building again, so we all flooded them. So they're overwhelmed just like the rest of us, and none of us have any staff to get through stuff.
I love this conversation, because this is my day every day.
Isn't that similar to the DMV, kind of going through the DRE when you go and pick a line and you just wait to get your number called as you're looking at the electronic TV to say, come on up.
It is to a certain extent. At least Department of Real Estate's been a little bit better than DMV, but it's still a state-run agency.
Not to crack on state government, because
no, not at all. Because we all know. I mean, these are reasons why there's cutbacks, and obviously, if you're self-employed, you can change pretty quick. You can call your brother and your uncle and your cousin and get them back to work and start framing a house tomorrow. But a lot of different agencies have rules, they have regulations that we have to abide by. So I'm thinking about this. Here we are. This project probably went down in 07, 08, sat vacant. There were some people already owners of that in there, or was it nobody in there yet?
No, there were 55 homes originally built in 4 buildings in the project. There were 15 that were unsold as part of the original project. So when we came in 11, really, as we got going really big on it, we had to take the project. We tried to negotiate with the bank, tried to get it as a short sale for the investor. We tried to go through the note buying process, everything. We finally had to push it all the way through to trustee sale and have it go through foreclosure, and did it through our investor, bought it on the courthouse steps. And it's been an interesting process to get it all the way through there. We were trying to do it earlier to keep the original project had an FHA approval on it, which, as you guys know, is huge, and for that price point especially. Yeah. And now in general, FHA, we weren't doing FHA for the longest time in anything in Sacramento. Now it's everywhere.
Right.
And we unfortunately lost that FHA approval. So we had to go through some process. We finally got Freddie Fannie approval back on the project. So now we can get normal loans. But up until then, the poor homeowners were left with only cash buyers. If they wanted to sell, all they could do was cash. Or if somebody was going to do a warehouse line for non-warrantable condos. So it's been an interesting process.
This is a real-life story right here.
Yeah, it's the epitome of what a lot of builders have gone through in the market. The original project had an affordable housing overlay on it, and the affordable housing, we had to go through the process to get rid of the affordable housing in there. The way the program was originally set up, and El Dorado County was phenomenal at looking at this and doing a really good job. Most of the other cities here in town have done a really good job at looking at the old affordable housing programs. But the program, if we followed the letter of the law, which we did, is the program allowed for, because during the meltdown in the market, incomes didn't change. The overall average incomes didn't change in the market. So if we follow those income guidelines, our affordable units were priced in the mid to upper 3s, and the market rate unit should have been in the mid 1s. The market itself created the affordable housing in Sacramento, and so that was neat to see. So the county was very very aware of where they were with the program and realized that the market itself was a better affordable housing program than what was created originally. So they were agreeable to allowing us to follow through the program and get it removed off the project because it was better for the consumer.
Right. Awesome. So we're here with Christopher Brown with Next New Homes Group, and we're going to take a little break here. We're going to get into my man over here with a quiz question. He says he didn't bring his glasses today, so we'll see what he's got.
No, I didn't. So I've got this out about 3 feet from my face to read it. So, so here's one for everybody out there. This is with regards to...
Because we all have extra money now.
Yes, we do. All
right,
of us
Chris?
do.
Affordability, we all have extra money.
I just got my new dollar now. I'm feeling much better.
So here we go. So this is this company is known as America's best-known jewelry brand.
What is America's best-known jewelry brand? All right, there we go. We have some River Cats tickets. We have some Round Table Pizza. We will be getting back with some Hellwig tickets for the winery. Next event coming up is Little Texas, July 13th, if you're interested there. So it might go along with the answer to this question. You might make out well. So appreciate it much. Jeff Tarbell says talk louder. He can't hear us in New York City, so we're going to speak it up and get it going. Thanks. We'll be right back. Come on.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
I lost my headphone. There we go.
All right. Here we are, Saturday morning. Rocking out, a little VH. Get our blood flowing a little bit here in case you didn't have enough coffee. We're here with Mr. Christopher Brown, and I was looking at Jeff Tarbell's comments here. He is out of town in New York City shopping for a college. No, he's not buying a college. He is trying to get his daughter into a college. And we're here with Kent Smith, our renovation guy, and we're talking about basically the builder business, what's going on out there. I want to hear a little more because I talk to Chris all the time, and we always talk about land development. At break, we were just talking about these different spots of land that some people own and may never sell, but apparently with 10,000 homes coming into the Folsom area, there's some growth going to happen out there. Obviously, we have West Roseville, a lot of outlying areas. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about what you know and share with us.
Yeah, long term, Sacramento's in a really good position. We've got obviously South Placer County, all of the stuff west of Fitiment, out that direction, with several different master plans that are out that direction. So that's going to be a huge amount of growth over the next 20, 30 years. So we'll see a ton of growth and ton of availability of land for us. So we're not constrained for Roseville and West Placer County or South Placer County. Folsom is doing a great job at growing, and that land has been in the works for a long time. So it's nice to see that finally come to fruition at the right time. We've come off the bottom, and now we're coming back up. So it's a good time to see that happen. And that'll be another, like South Placer County that'll be sold over the next 20, 30 years. So that's, yes, it's 10,000 home sites, but we're not seeing 10,000 units come into the market.
Right, exactly.
Historically, Sacramento is only about an 8,000 permit a year market. And if you look at the historical averages, we're about 8,000. We saw the last bubble, we got to 23,000 in 03, 04. So we way overshot. And we were talking about the bubble and lack of a bubble this time around. We way oversupplied. Money was free. The homes were everywhere. We way overbuilt. And it took us this long to finally get out.
Loans were easy.
Loans were way easy. Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, when your waitress at Denny's is buying her third house this week, you know that we've kind of hit the bubble.
We might have a problem.
Yes.
Right. So you're seeing everybody's out there skirmishing, the big builders, the small builders, the private guys looking for land in all the right places, trying to get them through. What and it takes time. We talked a little bit about last segment about the time it takes, and bring us back to that again about what it really takes to buy a piece of land, develop it, and move it forward.
Yeah, you look at, we have two things in California typically. We have a developer who is the one that's taking the big speculation on the front end on the dirt. And then you have what we call our merchant builders. And those are most of the big builders that you see here in town that are typically advertised. So those builders are buying then either finished lots or entitled lots. So going through the process, somebody buys a piece of dirt, farmland, whatever, and they're going to take it all the way through county approvals, state approvals, environmental approvals, all of those type of things. And that can take anywhere from as little as 5 years. Sometimes you get lucky, but it's usually about a 10 to 20 year process on most of the big master plans. You can do a couple of lots here and there that are what we call infill, meaning that there's already development all the way around it. Those are dramatically easier from a time frame standpoint. They're dramatically harder from a complexity standpoint, but we can get those through in a much shorter time frame. But these big master plans like Folsom and South Placer County and all of these areas that you're seeing, those have been in the development process for many, many years. So by the time you finally see it in the paper, it's been a good 15, 20 years of development process just to go through the approvals.
And now we're going to see another 15 to 20 plus years for these 10,000 give or take homes just in that Folsom area to parlay themselves into neighborhoods and into, the article talks about it just, we're going to be the next site as you're driving up to Tahoe, and here's what you're going to see. It's going to change. You're going to have city views. You're going to have lake views. A lot of things going on. So we were talking a little bit too. You have another project going on outside of the condo project. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're just starting to work with a new builder that's an old veteran here in town, but they're starting. It's called B&B Homes, and we're just getting started with just 4 homes in the pocket. And we've been having an absolute blast. This is a builder that's coming out and doing it differently and really focused on not only building homes differently, but we're marketing them differently, and we're doing things that aren't typically seen in the market. We're doing different finishes, all sorts of fun stuff. And it's the building company itself is owned by 2 women, and they are, which is completely unique for the market. And we're having so much fun because their focus is on a female-centric home, and it's fascinating to go through the process because you've got the 2 guys that own Next, and myself and my business partner Scott, and you go through that, and we sit down with them in meetings and going back and forth and trying to figure out, okay, what are the finishes going to be, and we tend to go hyper contemporary, and they're a little contemporary and a little traditional, so it's been this cool mixing of finishes and styles to try and come up with how these homes are going to look.
So I know a lot of the bigger builders too are not as you guys are by any means, I'm sure, but this home dynamic is changing as to what people want.
Yeah, the market we all hit the reset button. I think that's the easiest way to look at it, is that we're all coming back and the consumer now is different. They're looking at the home differently. They're living in it differently. You notice that you haven't seen, if you go and look at a new home, and probably anything that's been designed and built in the last 5 years, the living room's gone for the most part. Unless you get to the real high end, they're still kind of floating around there. And then even once you get into the custom side, the living room's been gone for several years now. So you'll see most of the new homes, no living rooms exist anymore. It was wasted space. It was always that stuff that you had to buy furniture for, but then all you did was dust it until the family came at the holidays, and that was the only time you used that room.
But it stuck around for so long. I always wonder why.
But you just paid $150 a foot for that room. Why? It's a complete waste of money.
But $200 a square foot, because then you had to get the furniture.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's exactly what it came out to. So you look at it in terms of that, going, why the heck did I ever buy a house with a living room? Now you see the designs that they're much more the great room, still having a formal dining room. I would venture to guess that in most of the homes that we design over the next probably 5 to 8 years, you'll see a lot of those, the dining room will go away, the formal dining room. As we were talking about the reset button that we've hit, we all live, I think, a lot more humbly than we did before. We're not getting out into this big showy house, big showy cars. You look at the brands like Kia and Hyundai, and have done some phenomenal jobs with what were basic econobox cars, and they've done a fine job with redesigning and coming out with something cool that people want. Well, you're going to see the same thing in the housing. You can get into a much more affordable product and a way cooler look without having to spend on all of this wasted space. The vaulted ceilings are gone. We're down to a 9-foot or a 10-foot ceiling now. Very volume space, but it's not this big, ostentatious 2-story living room kind of space. And we're living much more humbly. We want to entertain. We entertain casually. We don't entertain formally anymore.
I agree with that. Absolutely. So if you do have a living room, and my wife loves this, you get yourself a pool table.
There you go.
Pool table. You put it in the living room. You put some bar stools around it with a wine refrigerator, and it fills that space perfectly. Drives my wife absolutely nuts because she says we never use it. Nobody ever plays with it, and I always tell her, well, every time somebody comes over, we use it. But
You have a formal dining room?
No.
So you can tell your wife you just go to the marble store, get a slab of marble cut, and put it over the top of the pool table, and there's your dining table.
Nah.
Come on.
We're casual. We're more casual than that. So, but anyhow, lots of changes going on in the market, in the industry. We're happy to have Christopher Brown here with Next New Homes Group. We also have Kent Smith, which is doing some renovation projects as far as on your current resale homes, if you want to get those going. We, I don't know, Chris, did we get an answer to our last question? No answer. So tell us what we got again.
Wow. Okay, so I'll repeat the question again, just in case anybody wasn't listening. So this is America's best-known jewelry brand.
America's best-known jewelry brand. So as we're buying Hyundais and Kias, we have a little extra money, and we're out buying jewelry. What is the best-known brand? That is our quiz question for River Cats tickets. We also have Hellwig Winery tickets for that, and also our Sacramento River Cats. So we're going to take a break here, come back for our final segment of Talkin' Money Radio, and we will be right back.
Talkin' Money!
And we're back. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Nice. Little rouse them up here. So here we go. We are in for our final segment of Talkin' Money. And I'm reading the article title here, Stocks Sink Amid Jitters About the Fed. So we've been seeing a lot of Fed commentation. We've been talking about the roller coaster ride with the Dow Jones, with the way rates have been heading. And it is definitely a roller coaster. Along with that, talking about radio, we're seeing Apple progressing into getting into some radio and radio plan as they work their way through some changes. And also Pandora buying up state radio station in order to cut the royalty rates. So the royalty payments for Pandora, and a lot of us listen to it. We were just talking off show about the new home builds and are they going to have all wired for surround sound and all these different things. But I think with all the wireless technology that is going away. But as people are listening to Pandora, it just continues to increase. Quarter ended April 30th. The company said it spent more than $55 million, nearly 80% of its revenue on content acquisition. So as we know, Pandora, when they play their song out, they also have to pay the royalty payments. So they're looking at saving 1% of their revenue by getting this radio segment, and it will save them, most recent financial quarter totaled $70.6 million. So a lot of things going out there on the radio, a lot of work being done. And we're getting back to our segment here regarding home building, what's going on here. We have Christopher Brown with the Next New Homes Group. And the excitement continues. The excitement grows. The challenges are with us as we begin to develop and open up more homes, open up the change of homes, get into the change of dynamics with what people want. Do we still want the big giant home, or do we want the small single family? What do we want? And lead us into that a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, I think what we've seen is a change, like we were talking about earlier. The living room's gone. The dining room will probably go away at some point. But when we got into the top of the bubble, we were building as a home building industry. We were building homes that are up to 4,500 square feet, 4,800 square feet as production homes. I mean, that was always the custom realm. We should have never touched that. But free money and showy money. Then that's what the consumer wanted. Now we've hit that reset button. Now we're back down into, we're humble. We're living within our means. We have
We are?
Well, I think most people are.
All right, we're trying to.
We're trying to. Like I said, I got my new dollar. I'm going to keep it this time. It's the old home builder's prayer is that please give me one more good market, and I promise not to piss it away.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So we're going to try and keep that this time. Unfortunately, I think prices are certainly going up, and we're seeing them go up pretty rapidly. We'll probably temper that here over this next probably third and fourth quarter of this year, and then into early next year.
You think that based on demand or based on just trying to control a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think we'll certainly see some more price increases as we get into the rest of this quarter, and there's certainly some price appreciation pressure for third quarter because we still have zero supply. Fourth quarter is typically a soft quarter anyways for home building. We can't build a lot. Whatever is built and closed in fourth quarter is stuff that has already been sold pretty much this month and next month. So June, July is our fourth quarter closings. So sales that are recorded publicly happen today. So whatever happens in the fourth quarter, already happened. We're already there. So as we get into fourth quarter, we'll see a little bit of softening. Everybody starts to take the holidays off. We typically check out most of from the building industry. We typically back off on our advertising, and that's just the normal process for fourth quarter. We have a little bit less supply as we get into the rest of the year. There's hardly any lots left. There's not a lot of new stuff starting. But as we get into second quarter and third quarter of next year, then we start seeing some of that supply. Some of the stuff that's those 10, 20-year projects, people ramped up 4 or 5 years ago and took the risk knowing that it was going to come eventually. They took that financial risk to get those kind of projects up ahead. So we'll start to see some of those kind of things hit, and we'll finally have more supply as we get into next year. So we'll see some softening in this upward price pressure, and hopefully we see it softening to a manageable level and we get back to a, quote, normal market and be in those single-digit gains. If we get back into those 2 to 5% appreciation versus where we are at 34% right now, I think we get to a much more natural, sustainable level. And I think we had to get to this 34% appreciation that we've seen right now because we were so far off the bottom, and we had really in all honesty, overcorrected because we've had zero supply. You look at permits, the last couple of years, we've been 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 permits. And like I said, we're an 8,000 permit a year market. So we had to overcorrect. And so now we've done that with pricing. We overcorrected. Now we're bouncing off the bottom at 34%. So now we get back into a normalized market,
so we're
see some more supply.
Getting prices to a point where you can build.
Yep.
And ride it out and hopefully not continue this double digit so that we can get into more supply. Which makes me think that, it's going to be interesting July, August, September in terms of, what are these appreciation levels going to do and what are people going to do? I think, too, as we all know, as appreciation continues, not like before when you could fog a mirror and get a loan, you have to do your diligence on the loan side because there's not, all the stated income products and all the other funky products that we have. So,
it's
interesting supply demand.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. You actually have to qualify for a loan this time around, which I think prevents a bubble. So it's one of those novel things we're going to try this time. We'll see how it plays out this time.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you're involved a lot in BIA, which is the Builder Industry Association. I don't know if you want to talk at all about, I know you're a big idea guy. At least to me, you're an idea guy. You got Idea District that's out there.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff for the BIA. The Building Industry Association has always been, this, I think outside perception is just this very quiet, staid industry. We're just a bunch of home builders, and it's we're really trying to evolve that, and we've had some fun just trying to bring a little bit more life. Because of the meltdown, we've had a massive gap in talent coming into the industry. It wasn't cool to be a home builder in 06, 07, 08 when we're just completely jumping off the cliff. Now we're trying to make it a little bit more cool to be a home builder again, and know that that's a desirable career to do. And looking at that in order to bring in that next big gap, because we don't have anybody following us right now for that next generation coming into the industry. And it's trades, it's sales and marketing people, it's finance people. I mean, it's everything that's within our industry. And we don't have that talent coming in. We don't have them coming out of college. We don't have them coming out of the trade schools. We don't have them coming out of high school right now. And we have a huge need for that. So we worked on and came up with this thing called the Idea District. And the Idea District is partly, it's based on Seth Godin's Tribes. And if you've read Seth Godin's Tribes, it's all about, creating a tribe mentality and trying to bring together this group. So we started out with the old school mentality of we're going to have this next gen council and all of the normal thought process that every other organization has. And it organically evolved into the Idea District. And the Idea District is really it's literally grown organically. It started out with about 3 of us having a conversation, and now it's grown into this. I think there's about 20 involved. And our first event, what we call our beta event, we threw a nice intimate event in a 300,000 square foot hangar at McClellan. And we had a Range Rover Evoque, the new cool Evoque, as our DJ speakers, and hooked that up. And we had the DJ literally plugged into the car for the event, and we had whiteboards made out of drywall. And if you could change one thing we had one board for the industry, one board for your company, and one board for yourself. And so it was all of that kind of concept. So we had tons of ideas that were written, and we time-lapsed it and had all sorts of fun. And that's evolved into this next event, which is Thursday the 20th, so this coming Thursday. And we're going to do it in this cool Midtown location. So that's coming up, and that's going to be an Ignite event. So I think we've got about 4 or 5 speakers. It's going to be each speaker has slides on a 15-second time slot. So they've got 20 slides on 15 seconds. So really they have 5 minutes, and it's bam, bam, bam. So it's super quick, hyper energetic, and should be really good energy. And you can get more of that at facebook.com/Idea District.
Okay, and that's open to anybody with interest?
Anybody that's got an idea and wants to be creative and have some fun.
And tell us that again, Facebook?
Facebook.com/Idea District.
Okay, so there you go. If you want to get involved in something more exciting, I've, again, being around Chris a little bit and a lot of different ideas, I think with the downtown, midtown, again, the increase in Kings, increase in all the different things in Sacramento area, just there's this new vibe coming out of excitement is huge, and it's going to take us places. So it's cool to see. Let's get back to Builder Industry Association, what it does, and how some people out there listening might be able to get involved.
Yeah, the BIA. There's so many aspects of the industry. We've got the front end of the business, which is the entitlements, working with politicians, all of that kind of thing. And getting involved in there is getting through with the political community involvement and making sure that we've got a connection from the projects that are being developed, and making sure that they get approval, working at the state level and at the federal level through NAHB, National Association of Home Builders, and making sure that we have laws that are put in place or laws that are attempting to come through from people that have a different interest than us from the home building industry, making sure that there's some control there and things aren't just running off the rails. Then you take it all the way through. We've got a membership council, which is a lot of fun. We're bringing more members in, and that's been growing infinitely now that we've got a better market back. And then we've got sales and marketing council, which is all of the sales and marketing people. So if you've got that creative bent, sales and marketing council is a great thing to get involved in. And then we've got associates council for all of our trades. And then we also have our Trade Builder Alliance that does a lot of involvement with not only our trades, but then bringing people back to work and really getting a lot of the other community leaders involved. And then we also have our charitable arm, which is Homemade. And Homemade is an amazing organization. We build shelters for the homeless. We're actually working on some videos right now. Next is creating some videos for the face of homelessness in Sacramento. And what Homemade's done over the years to work with like Win Youth Services and Sacramento Children's Receiving Home and building onto those facilities and adding more beds and bringing that into the community. So there's not only the building side and all of the perception of what goes on there, but there's a huge charitable arm. And in spite of the meltdown in the market, Homemade still built beds in this town, and it was a phenomenal thing to see that people took. These are home builders and individuals that take money out of their own pocket, not just company money, but personal money and time and materials to put into these projects. It's really a phenomenal thing to get involved in.
Awesome. So you touched a little bit about employment and who's coming into, in Sacramento area, we have government. We have, obviously in the last big burst, it was real estate that kicked in. We had a lot of contractors and construction, and a lot of times now you're starting to hear this, we don't have the employment people, we don't have the people to do these jobs. And how's that change?
I think the challenge, we still have an employment challenge in Sacramento. I think it's a good thing that the Kings are staying outside of the Kings themselves, but just having a professional sports organization makes us desirable to corporations. We still have the challenge of being in California, and it's very tough to have a business in California. Right. But by having that professional sports organization, having a very supportive community, both Sacramento, Roseville, Folsom, El Dorado Hills, all of these communities are very business-oriented and are welcoming businesses into the community. So the more that we can do that, I still think we need to find some niches on what to bring in. What are some of those industries that we can support as a community? Obviously, we have a lot of tech here. We have a lot of green tech here. And then medical tech seems to be growing, and medical startups are starting to grow in Sacramento. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for growing those type of businesses and getting involved in chambers of commerce and those kind of things, and figuring out how do we get more of those businesses and make Sacramento much more attractive to those, because that's how we're going to grow and have a sustainable economy. You look back in the 90s, when the economy melted down then, we were a government economy. We had 2 air bases. We had all the state, so we were either federal or state oriented for our base. Now, going back to the lack of a bubble, we have a much more diverse economy. We're not reliant on just the state government anymore, and certainly not the federal government anymore. Although those are still a large portion of our employment. But we have so much more. We have some manufacturing now. McClellan's done a phenomenal job at adding manufacturing jobs. So we need more of those type of things to have a much more sustainable economy.
Yeah, definitely. So when you're looking at different building opportunities and such, how much do you always hear, well, it starts in the Bay Area, flows this way, and how much truth is there to that? But also, Sacramento is not the Bay Area. It's a different dynamic to it. So.
Yeah, it's funny. We've historically always followed the Bay Area. It's whether it's 6 months or a year behind the Bay Area, we've always followed it. And the Bay Area has always followed Southern Cal. So Southern Cal took off last year. Bay Area took off end of last year and early this year, and we've really took off this year. We saw the hints of us taking off in probably August, September of last year. You could certainly see the trend line coming. So we're certainly getting there. And then you look at Reno. Reno's then the next step behind us, and Reno's certainly taking off there. We're just setting up operations there right now for a couple of projects. So we're certainly at that uptick stage, but we are certainly at the point to where we have more coming into town, but we also have the spillover from the Bay Area. Tech is coming here because it's more affordable for their employees to live here. So I think that's making a huge difference and is really looking good for Sacramento.
I agree. So Sacramento is looking up. We got music starting here. That means we got 2 minutes to go here. But, I agree. You start, too, with the Kings, and you get, the influence of the owners from San Diego and from San Francisco coming into this direction. All these new home things coming out, the Idea District. It's exciting times. I'm thankful for Christopher Brown here with Next New Homes Group. A lot of information here. What's the best way to reach you if you ever have any questions?
You can always find out everything about us at nextnewhomes.com or always give us a call at 916-572-NEXT, 6398.
6398. And so that's about wrapping us up. We still have a bunch of papers here to cover, so a lot more information. We'll have Jeff Tarbell back next week. And thank you very much, Kent Smith, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. If you have any information, any questions, you can always reach Jeff at jefftarbell.com, myself at john@johnfod.com. And we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much. Aloha.